I can't mimic voices for love or money. I'm completely hopeless at it. I was a really bad actor at school, and I've never been able to master the art of mimicry.
The royal quiet was broken, and the world hasn't stopped buzzing since. Just 5 minutes ago, the royal family made a surprising, carefully worded revelation that shook the monarchy to its core. It was not read on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. It was not given by King Charles. It clearly lacked the pomp and polish of a planned occasion. No, this message struck like a lightning bolt, subtle in tone but tremendous in effect. While the palace insists it's just a necessary update, insiders and longtime royal watchers are reading between the lines. Something big is moved within those magnificent gates. What is more revealing than what has been stated? Who said it? The statement came not from Buckingham Palace, but from Kensington, from the offices of Prince William and Princess Catherine. It held their royal stamps and signatures, but made no mention of King Charles or Queen Camilla. That information alone has inspired wild conjecture on social media, tabloids, and the international press. Some are calling it the start of a new reign. Others are wondering the unthinkable. Did the crown simply change hands without saying so? As media race for clarity, palace insiders drop indications that this has been planned for weeks. In fact, some think the announcement's wording, subtle but powerfully symbolic, was planned months in advance. The proclamation mentions a realignment of royal roles, a renewed focus on future leadership, and a commitment to honoring the legacy of those who came before. Each sentence is rife with implications. Camilla is the name that everyone is talking about, even though it was not included in the formal release. This is not only a ceremonial change, this is a remark about direction, of power, of legacy. Already the public has responded. Within minutes, hashtags like #LongLiveKate and #TheFutureIsNow were trending globally. Some describe it as a power grab. Others see it as destiny realized. But one thing is certain, Kate Middleton and Prince William are no longer waiting in the wings. They're moving ahead, and many people feel this is the time Diana had foretold. So what does the statement say? Why now? What caused this rapid shift? And more significantly, who is being left behind? Stay with us as we peel back the layers of this explosive event, uncover the quiet fight taking place behind the royal walls, and explain why this moment has the potential to reshape the monarchy forever. This was not simply an announcement, but a warning shot. And the crown? It may be changing hands quicker than anybody anticipated. The announcement wasn't lengthy, it wasn't loud. However, it was devastatingly effective. The royal family's official outlets issued a message only minutes before the top of the hour, which was both mysterious and deliberate. It reads, "In accordance with the monarchy's changing demands and dedication to future generations, top responsibilities within the royal family are being redefined. Their Royal Highnesses, the Prince and Princess of Wales, will take on additional responsibilities in recognition of their leadership in both domestic and Commonwealth affairs. This shift has been led by introspection, solidarity, and a long-standing commitment to public service." That was it. There is no news conference. There are no cameras. There is no visible king. Just a digital statement placed on Kensington Palace's official website, which was swiftly reproduced by trustworthy royal journalists. However, within seconds, the message had gone viral. Then came the headlines. "William and Kate step up. Where is Charles?" "Camilla left out of new royal leadership statement. The future is here. A new royal order." At first sight, the statement seemed to be a plain restructure. However, royal experts and insiders quickly uncovered the deeper significance. The phrasing, particularly terms like increased duties, transition, and reflective of their leadership, was deliberate. It was a signal, one that screamed, "William and Kate are no longer next. They are now." Then came the shocking realization. The proclamation made no mention of King Charles or Queen Camilla. That absence alone was enough to set the royal rumor mill on fire. For decades, every significant royal update, even minor ones, has contained some type of homage to the incumbent king. It could be a quote, a reference to approval, or a ceremonial nod to the sovereign. What about this time? Nothing. It becomes even more shocking. The palace source most closely associated with the statement was not a Buckingham official. A Kensington staffer confirmed anonymously to one outlet that William and Kate personally approved the statement. This wasn't just a team decision, the source explained. They're taking over the narrative now. This is no longer about waiting for permission. It is about securing the crown's future. If this is correct, the timing could not be more precise. Only weeks ago, Queen Camilla was seen leading royal activities that were normally reserved for senior royals, eliciting anger from the people, who still see her position as questionable. Her recent efforts to position herself as the matriarch of a modern monarchy drew internet criticism and revived pleas to commemorate Princess Diana's legacy. In contrast, William and Kate's recent appearances have drawn large audiences, with Kate being characterized as the beating heart of a monarchy that people still believe in. It's hardly surprising that this declaration seems like an intentional line in the sand, not a cooperation, but a readjustment. Even more revealing was the mode of delivery. Traditionally, such remarks are given via Buckingham Palace's press office, with a matching appearance from the monarch or his agents. But this communication came entirely from Kensington. No Charles, no Camilla, no Anne. There is no mention of anybody else. Only the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, the Prince and Princess of Wales, are definitely in the limelight. While the statement used phrases like unity and reflection, insiders close to the palace said the atmosphere within the firm is far from calm. There's tension, revealed one royal aide. This was not handled via the customary means. It caught many off guard, especially Camilla. However, the public has reacted with overwhelming favor. Social media exploded in delight at what many are dubbing the quiet coronation. Supporters swamped comment sections with comments like, "Diana would be so proud," and "finally real royalty." Even monarchy detractors conceded that this was a masterpiece in subtle domination. So, what does this imply for Charles? And more crucially, how does Camilla respond to being publicly bypassed? As we'll see later, here is when the narrative takes a very dark turn. The statement may have sounded smooth, but behind closed doors, it may have caused a royal explosion. The announcement's exquisite phrasing masks a much more chaotic truth. The monarchy is no longer united, and at the center of the split are King Charles and Queen Camilla, who have been plainly marginalized in what many insiders refer to as the quiet removal. It is no secret that King Charles's rule has been criticized from the outset. While his official ascent to the throne occurred after Queen Elizabeth's death, the public's emotional devotion never truly shifted. Charles, despite his title, failed to command the same respect as his deceased mother. And Camilla? Her position at the heart of the monarchy has been a source of contention for the British people, especially those who have never forgotten or forgiven her involvement in the dissolution of Charles and Diana's marriage. With this news, the silent unhappiness seems to have taken physical expression. William and Kate have gone ahead, not with their father's approval, but in his shadow. According to palace sources, Charles was only alerted about the statement a few hours before it was released. Apparently, he expressed concern about the messaging, particularly Camilla's omission from the announcement. According to an insider, the king was stunned. This was not planned via Buckingham. It felt like a declaration of independence, a shift in tone, authority, and purpose. If Charles was surprised, Camilla was enraged. The queen consort, who has long been chastised for attempting to establish herself as a legitimate queen rather than a divisive second wife, apparently had her own intentions. Camilla has just begun working behind the scenes on a Commonwealth goodwill trip in an effort to modernize her image and position herself as a worldwide symbol. According to sources, she anticipated full support from William and Kate, but was faced with utter hostility. She offered it as a cooperative initiative, a former royal aide recalled. But William declined. He told advisors that it was irresponsible to entrust the future of the monarchy to someone so historically contentious. That remark, when reported to Camilla, allegedly provoked a full-fledged outburst behind closed doors. What followed was a series of quiet but deliberate movements. William and Kate started to decline joint appearances with Charles and Camilla. Meetings beyond the royal gates were icy and short. Charles attempted to preserve public unity, but insiders believe his influence has dwindled significantly, particularly given his persistent health difficulties. Camilla, feeling more alone, started pushing harder for importance, which backfired tragically. The announcement was the last straw. For many, this is more than simply a shift in positions. It is a seismic change in power. William and Kate have virtually proclaimed that they will lead the monarchy into the future, whether or not the old guard supports them. They have carved out a place for themselves, while simultaneously boxing off Charles and Camilla in plain sight. And although Charles may outwardly accept this move as part of modernizing the crown, many closest to the family believe it is personal. He feels betrayed, a source said. He always thought William would wait his time, but now he realizes that his own rule is being undermined, not by Parliament, but by his own blood. Camilla, meanwhile, has gone quiet. No public remarks, no appearances. Most tellingly, her spouse offered no defense. The division is no longer discussed behind palace doors. It is now part of public record, in the shape of a statement that essentially rewrites the royal hierarchy. While William and Kate gained public favor, Charles and Camilla have been discreetly, and maybe forever, pushed aside. Next, we look at the lady at the heart of this royal evolution, and how Kate Middleton's fingerprints may be all over the largest royal power shift in decades. As the dust settles following the royal declaration, one individual emerges not just as a symbol of elegance, but also as the architect of the whole action. Catherine, Princess of Wales, formerly seen as her husband's silent supporter, has suddenly emerged as something considerably more powerful, a strategist, a leader, and maybe the genuine voice of the future monarchy. In the hours after the declaration, observers noted a shift, not only in titles, but also in tone. The phrasing was not in the formal, distant manner preferred by Buckingham Palace. It was warm, polished, contemporary, and very human. Phrases like legacy of service and future generations hit a chord that was uniquely Kate. Analysts of the royal address noticed that the tempo and structure were similar to previous messages related to her charitable activities and public speeches. This wasn't a coincidence. This was the intention. According to palace sources, Kate was not only involved, but also helped compose the statement herself. A trusted former communications assistant claimed, "Kate's fingerprints are all over it. She has always been measured, but don't confuse that with passivity. She knows how to craft a message that will appeal across generations." That declaration was more than just about the crown. It was about motherhood, responsibility, and preserving Diana's legacy. It was personal. That personal touch is exactly what has captivated the public's heart. For months, curiosity centered on Kate's restricted public appearance schedule. Some tabloids labeled it disease. Others indicated stress, even marital problems. However, after the announcement, everything seems to have changed. It was not a retreat. It was a strategy. Kate was not disappearing. She was preparing. While Camilla chased cameras and staged picture opportunities, Kate allegedly met discreetly with key members of her communication staff, advisors, and even select members of Parliament to develop a long-term strategy for her job. She wasn't expecting to inherit tradition, she was redesigning it. And the message she's delivering today is clear. She's not a supporting character. She is a queen in waiting, not only by title, but also by action. The response from the people has been phenomenal. Overnight, social media was awash with hashtags like #QueenCatherine, #FutureIsgate, and #Diana's daughter-in-law. Comment sections are flooded with heartfelt words from followers, many of whom have never warmed up to Camilla. One tweet that received over 1 million views said, "Diana would be proud. Kate is doing what Charles never had the guts to do." And it isn't just words. Kate's first appearance after the announcement was purposefully understated, but symbolically significant. Kate's visual message spoke more than any words, as she donned a delicate but stunning blue gown reminiscent of Diana's memorable 1995 panorama interview attire. Observers noticed her calm, confident attitude, pleasant smile, and most significantly, that she was alone. There's no William beside her. No Charles, no Camilla. Kate is the only one who is taking control of the situation. This was no coincidence. It was a message. Even her motions have changed. For years, Kate was often pictured standing slightly behind William at gatherings. In recent trips, she has been strolling side by side, and sometimes even ahead. Her handshakes last longer. Her speeches bring weight. Her efforts, such as the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood, have received worldwide prominence. Behind the scenes, palace workers are said to refer to her as the quiet power. And now the world knows why. Kate Middleton has spent more than a decade in the royal limelight, learning, watching, and facing unrelenting criticism. And now she's truly coming into her own, not as a hesitant royal, but as the throbbing heart of a monarchy in change. But not everyone in the palace is clapping. Next, see how Princess Anne's criticism and allegiance to Charles led to a royal Cold War, isolating her from new power players in Kensington. While the public welcomes William and Kate's elevation, the atmosphere behind the royal walls is anything but jubilant. A stealthy civil war is unfolding, pitting future against history, devotion against tradition. And in the core of this growing conflict is Princess Anne, who has always followed her own path. Princess Anne, dubbed the hardest-working royal, has long been regarded for her unwavering commitment, forthright demeanor, and no-nonsense attitude to duty. However, in recent months, that reputation has turned into opposition. According to sources, Anne is unimpressed with William and Kate's rapid progress. In fact, she has privately described it as dangerous. According to sources inside the palace, Anne was not contacted prior to the announcement. While she has no official control over succession, she has always been a valued counselor to Charles and a protector of the old ways of royal service. To be excluded from anything on this scale, she felt snubbed. "She sees what's going on," a palace aide said, "and she dislikes it. Anne thinks that the monarchy lives via tradition, not marketing. She views William and Kate's contemporary approach, less hierarchy, more emotion, as gentle, although unstable. She believes they are risking everything for popularity." Tensions allegedly erupted at a private family meeting held only days before the statement was released. According to witnesses, Anne approached Kate directly, reportedly stating, "You haven't earned the crown yet." It was a rare moment of open disagreement in a family known for concealing stress behind polished smiles. But Kate, according to all accounts, did not flinch. How did she respond? Silence, composure. One witness described a look that said everything without saying a word. Anne has already taken issue with the younger royals. She apparently criticized Harry and Meghan's departure, claiming that it would undermine the monarchy. She is now concerned that William and Kate are reinventing royal tradition in real time rather than abandoning it altogether. Anne sees this transformation as a betrayal of her mother's heritage. For Kate and William, it seems like survival. The split goes beyond personal opinion. It is generational. Anne embodies the monarchy of service by her stoicism, silent, obedient, and emotionless. William and Kate symbolize a new age of openness and empathy, with public weeping mental health awareness, and genuine honesty. For many, the latter is essential. For Anne, it is heresy. While Anne maintains a calm demeanor, people close to her believe the unexpected news touched a raw nerve. She allegedly expressed worry to Charles about his lack of presence throughout the changeover. But Charles, fatigued and facing health issues, allegedly urged her, "Let them lead." According to insiders, this attitude merely deepened the divide between Anne and the new Power Center building at Kensington. It's a slow-burning conflict, subtle, unsaid, but intense. Anne has now reduced her combined appearances with William and Kate. She has returned to lower-profile events, frequently alone, and seems clearly anxious when questioned by the media. While the palace assures that everything is okay, body language reveals a different story. Tight lips, averted gazes, and more than one embarrassing snapshot that made headlines. In the eyes of the public, Anne continues to be seen as a relentless royal fighter. But behind the scenes, some colleagues see her as the last soldier of a fading monarchy. In this quiet fight, she is rapidly outnumbered. But as Anne battles to keep up with the shifting tide, another name is becoming more prominent throughout Britain, one that refuses to slip into obscurity. Because this moment is not only about the future, it also involves a promise, a warning, and a mother who saw everything coming. Next, learn how Princess Diana's legacy is not only alive, but growing from the ashes of the crown she never wore. In the midst of royal pronouncements and changing power dynamics, one name continues to rise, even after death. Diana, the Princess of Wales, the people's princess, the woman who fought the system, shattered royal silence, and redefined what monarchy might mean. And today, some 3 decades after her untimely death, her legacy is more powerful than ever. Many of those who saw the latest announcement saw it as more than simply William and Kate stepping up. It was about Diana's influence, assuming its proper position on the throne, not in title, but in concept, spirit, and purpose. Royal pundits quickly saw comparisons. One historian observed that the phrasing in the revised statement, phrases such as legacy of service and future generations, echoed Diana's own comments from her landmark 1995 Panorama interview. Diana famously said in that emotional speech, "I lead from the heart, not the head." It looks like her son and daughter-in-law are now doing the same. Even Kate's public presence after the news seemed to channel Diana's aura with almost surgical accuracy. She donned a light blue coat dress that was virtually similar to the one Diana wore during her post-divorce charity visits in 1996, when she was no longer HRH, but still the world's most popular royal. Kate's rendition was updated and current, but it was clear that it was purposeful. A simple tribute, an encoded communication. It was not missed. Social media was flooded with side-by-side photos of Kate and Diana, with captions like, "The crown Diana was denied, her daughter-in-law now wears with grace," and "She may be gone, but she never left us." Thousands of comment sections echoed the public sentiment. Kate is the continuation of Diana's vision, and William is upholding the commitment he made to his mom. After Diana's split from Charles, William allegedly promised in secret that he would always preserve her memory. He would never allow them, the institution that sought to silence and isolate her, to destroy her legacy. And this announcement? This was the fulfillment of a promise, and it extends beyond symbolic. Behind the scenes, insiders say William has been pushing for palace changes, promoting more openness, contemporary connection with the public, and a diminished role for individuals who have long been royal by marriage, not by heart. A not-so-subtle reference to Camilla's continuing scandal. Where Charles hesitated, William acted, and his behaviors increasingly reflect Diana's values: emotional honesty, compassion above convention, and service before tradition. There is also a deeper layer. For decades, the narrative of royal history has attempted to portray Diana as a cautionary tale, a terrible character, a rebel who could not withstand the establishment. But that story is unraveling. With each stride forward, William and Kate rewrite the story, not as tragedy, but as development. Diana did not betray the throne. The crown failed Diana, and now, thanks to her son and daughter-in-law, her vision is being realized in a plain view of the world. It's hardly surprising Camilla has kept mute. Every assent of Kate serves as a reminder of the lady Camilla was accused of ruining. Every shout for William reflects Diana's continuing influence on the public's heart. And every fresh news that positions the Wales family at the heart of the monarchy adds to Diana's legacy. The monarchy may be evolving, but it is not just modernizing. It is correct. Next, we'll discuss what this event means for the royal family's future. Because, although a new era has started, not everyone is ready to let go of old practices, and the most significant conflicts may still lie ahead. The statement may have been packaged in elegance and diplomacy, but it has upended decades of royal precedent. In a few brief phrases, the monarchy's destiny was revealed, not via edict, but through deed. And underlying that subtle transformation is a new power center, William and Kate, who are taking on duties beyond their titles. They are no longer the heirs in waiting. They are already seen as leaders by the public. But with every increase comes opposition. Behind the scenes, King Charles is weakened, not by illness, but by losing importance. His quiet after the news has only fueled suspicion. Was it his decision? Or was it a capitulation compelled by a tide he could no longer resist? Camilla feels the quiet even more acutely. There is no recognition. There is no role. There's no mention. For someone who has spent years working her way into the public's grudging approval, this absence seems definitive. Princess Anne, too, finds herself lost in this new world. Loyal to the past, committed to the crown as it was rather than what it is becoming. Her once popular orthodox viewpoint now seems out of date. Is she an anchor or a relic? Nonetheless, even as the old guard struggles with its declining authority, the public has made its decision. They perceive Kate as the genuine queen in waiting, embodying Diana's elegance, power, and compassion. They perceive William as more than simply a future king. He is finally fulfilling a quiet promise to his mother. However, the path ahead is far from smooth. The royal family is more divided than ever, and beneath the public smiles are grudges, murmurs, and wounded pride. This was not the conclusion of a chapter. It was the start of a new fight behind the royal gates, a conflict of visions, of legacy, of those who actually deserve to wear the crown. But one thing is certain, the future is no longer tied to the past. It belonged to a new generation, to a new kind of royalty, to a queen who never received her crown, and to the family that is now carrying on her heritage. The monarchy is evolving. This time, Diana's side wins.